Have you ever sat down after a long day, only to feel your heart beating a little too fast? Or notice that your blood pressure numbers are creeping up, even though you haven't changed much in your daily routine? If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Many people over 60 start noticing these little signs, feeling lightheaded, having occasional headaches, or just feeling a little off. And it's easy to chalk it up to aging. But here's the truth. High blood pressure isn't just part of getting older, and you can do something about it. Let's have a heart-to-heart for a moment. Hypertension, or high blood pressure, is often called the silent killer for a reason. You might not feel anything at all while it quietly wears down your arteries, straining your heart, your brain, your kidneys. But don't let that scare you, because just like small habits can build up to cause problems, small habits can also be powerful tools for healing. And the best part? You don't need fancy equipment, expensive supplements, or extreme diets. Just a few gentle tweaks to your daily life can make a world of difference. In this video, we're going to talk about simple, natural ways you can lower your blood pressure and feel better, without turning your world upside down. These aren't wild, unreachable goals. They're easy, manageable, and surprisingly enjoyable once you get the hang of them. Let's start with the first habit that can quietly transform your health: getting back in touch with your breath. Most of us breathe without thinking. It's automatic, right? But how often do you really breathe? You know, slow, deep, belly-filling breaths that calm your nerves and settle your body. You might be surprised to know that simply practicing slow, mindful breathing for a few minutes a day can lower your blood pressure naturally. When you take deep breaths, your body switches out of fight or flight mode, the stress response that tightens your blood vessels, and into rest and digest mode. This signals your heart to slow down, your blood vessels to relax, and your entire system to ease up. Try this. Sit comfortably, close your eyes if you'd like, and inhale slowly through your nose to a count of 4. Then gently exhale through your mouth to a count of 6. Do that for just 5 minutes in the morning, or whenever you feel tension building up. It's free, it's simple, and it works, especially over time. Of course, our breath is just the beginning. Another beautiful and surprisingly powerful habit for blood pressure control is walking, specifically taking slow, intentional walks outdoors. Now, I'm not talking about speed walking or anything that feels like a workout unless that's your thing. What I mean is the kind of walk where you feel the breeze on your face. Notice the way the light filters through the trees, and let your steps find a rhythm with your breath. Moving your body gently but consistently helps keep your blood vessels flexible and strong. It improves circulation and reduces stiffness, not just in your joints but in your arteries too. Just 20 minutes a day of light walking, around the block, in a park, even indoors if the weather's bad, can lower your blood pressure over time. And don't underestimate the power of being outside. Nature has its own kind of medicine. The sunlight, the fresh air, the bird song. It all signals your body to relax. There's actually a name for it: green therapy or forest bathing. You don't need a forest though. Just some plants, trees, or even a patch of sky will do. When you pair movement with a bit of nature, you give your body and mind a powerful message. You're safe, you're supported, and there's no need to stay on high alert. Now let's talk about something that surprises many people: hydration. Yes, drinking water. It might sound too simple, but staying properly hydrated is one of the easiest ways to support healthy blood pressure. When your body doesn't have enough fluid, your blood becomes thicker, and your heart has to work harder to pump it through your system. That extra strain can raise your blood pressure more than you think. And here's the thing: as we age, we often lose our sense of thirst. You might not feel thirsty, but your body still needs the water. Try keeping a glass or bottle of water nearby throughout the day, and take small sips often. If plain water isn't appealing, add a slice of lemon or cucumber for a little flavor. Herbal teas count too, especially calming ones like chamomile or hibiscus, which have their own blood pressure lowering benefits. You don't need to guzzle it down all at once. Just get into the habit of sipping regularly, especially in the morning and early afternoon. Avoid too much caffeine or alcohol, which can actually dehydrate you. If your urine is a pale yellow color, you're likely on the right track. Let's take a pause here, not to stop, but to breathe. We've already covered 3 habits: slow breathing, gentle walking, and staying hydrated, that can help lower blood pressure naturally. And none of them require medications, dramatic changes, or expensive programs. They're just simple shifts. But simple doesn't mean small. These habits speak directly to your nervous system, your circulation, your energy, and most importantly, to your sense of calm and control. And maybe that's the most important message of all. You're not powerless. Even if your numbers have been creeping up, even if you've been told it's just part of aging, don't believe for a second that you're stuck. Your body still listens to you. It still responds. It still heals. Sometimes all it needs is a little gentle guidance. So take a breath. Let it go. Feel your shoulders relax just a bit. You're already taking steps in the right direction. Now that we've explored a few easy ways to reconnect with your breath, your body, and your daily habits, it's time to look at another simple but often overlooked part of daily life that can have a big impact on your blood pressure: what you eat. Now, I'm not here to tell you to throw out everything in your pantry or never enjoy your favorite meals again. That's no fun, and frankly, it's not sustainable. What is sustainable is making small shifts, little changes in the kinds of foods you reach for, and how you prepare them. Let's start with something very doable: adding more potassium-rich foods to your plate. Potassium is like a natural counterbalance to sodium. It helps your body release excess salt and eases the tension in your blood vessels. Think of it as a gentle helper that tells your arteries, "Relax, you've got this." Now, where do you find potassium? Not just in bananas, though those are great, but in all sorts of delicious foods. Sweet potatoes, spinach, avocados, beans, oranges, and even plain yogurt. You don't need to count grams or track servings. Just make it a goal to add something fresh and colorful to each meal. Maybe a handful of berries with breakfast, a baked potato with dinner, or a handful of steamed greens on the side. These small additions add up, and they help crowd out the salty snacks and processed foods that sneak into our diets without us even realizing. Speaking of salt, let's talk about that for a second. Not in a way that's judgmental or strict, but practical. If you're anything like me, you've grown up with salt as a familiar friend in the kitchen. It makes things taste better, right? But over time, too much salt can stiffen your arteries and raise your blood pressure. The tricky part is that a lot of the salt we eat isn't from the shaker. It's already hidden in packaged and processed foods. Canned soups, deli meats, frozen meals, and even that seemingly innocent piece of bread. So here's a gentle suggestion. Next time you shop, take a quick peek at the label. If a product has more than 300 milligrams of sodium per serving, maybe there's a lower sodium version nearby. And when you cook at home, try adding flavor with herbs, garlic, lemon juice, or a splash of vinegar instead of always reaching for the salt. Your taste buds will adjust, usually in just a couple of weeks, and you might be surprised how much more you can taste when salt isn't overpowering everything. Now let's shift gears to something a little more emotional, but just as important: stress. And no, you're not being dramatic or overly sensitive if you've been feeling more stressed lately. Life after 60 brings a different kind of rhythm. There are changes in family dynamics, health concerns, financial worries, and sometimes even loneliness. These stresses may not always feel intense, but when they simmer under the surface day after day, they keep your body in a state of low-level tension, and that can push your blood pressure higher over time. But here's the good news. You have more control over stress than you might think. One of the most powerful ways to calm your system is also one of the most enjoyable: connection. Spending time with people who make you feel seen and valued, whether that's friends, family, or even a neighbor down the street, sends your body a clear message: you're safe. You're not alone. And that message, it works just like medicine. Laughter too is wonderfully healing. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and even temporarily lowers blood pressure. So call that old friend, watch a funny movie, join a local club, or strike up a conversation with someone at the park. Even short moments of connection can have a big effect on how your heart feels, both emotionally and physically. And if human connection feels a little out of reach some days, animals can help too. If you have a pet, you already know this. Stroking a cat, walking a dog, or even watching birds at a feeder can slow your heart rate and lift your mood. That calm feeling doesn't just stay in your mind. It flows through your entire system, bringing your blood pressure down naturally. Another gentle tool I want to share is music. Yes, music. Listening to soothing music, especially classical, soft jazz, or calming nature sounds, can help lower blood pressure by relaxing your nervous system. You don't have to be a musician or even know much about music theory. Just find a playlist that makes you feel good and play it while you cook, clean, or unwind in the evening. Let it become part of your daily routine, like a warm bath for your brain. And if you're someone who enjoys a little quiet reflection, adding just 5 minutes of stillness or meditation to your day can work wonders. You don't need to sit cross-legged or light candles unless you want to. Just sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on something peaceful, your breath, a calming word, or even the sound of birds outside. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just gently come back to the moment. Over time, this simple practice rewires your brain to handle stress more gracefully, and your blood pressure responds in kind. So whether it's the food on your plate, the way you move your body, the people you connect with, or the little moments of peace you create for yourself, each one is a step toward better health. Not all at once, not perfectly, but day by day. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need to show up for yourself, consistently, kindly, and with curiosity about what your body needs today. Because your health isn't just numbers on a monitor or pills in a bottle. It's the way you feel when you wake up in the morning. It's the energy you bring to your day. It's the sense of calm that lets you smile for no reason. So take another breath. Let it be easy. Let it be enough for now. Now that you've started making gentle changes to how you eat, how you manage stress, and how you move through your day, let's take a look at another powerful piece of the puzzle: your sleep. Yes, your nightly rest isn't just about feeling alert in the morning. It's directly tied to your blood pressure, more than most people realize. You see, while you sleep, your blood pressure naturally dips. That's your body's way of hitting the reset button, allowing your heart and blood vessels to rest and recover. But when sleep is short, restless, or interrupted too often, your body misses out on that healing time. Over the long term, that can nudge your blood pressure higher and higher, even if everything else in your life seems balanced. So, what can you do? First, focus on consistency. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, even on weekends. Your body thrives on rhythm. If you're up late one night and sleeping in the next morning, it can confuse your internal clock, making it harder to fall into deep, restorative sleep. Second, create a calming evening routine. Think of it like easing into a warm bath rather than jumping into a cold shower. Maybe it's a cup of herbal tea, a few minutes of light reading, or simply turning down the lights and turning off screens an hour before bed. Blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs can trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime, making it harder for you to fall asleep. And if you're lying in bed with your mind racing, worrying about the future, replaying conversations, or mentally writing tomorrow's to-do list, try writing it down. A small notebook on your nightstand can be a powerful release. Jot down anything that's crowding your mind, and remind yourself you can return to it in the morning, refreshed and clear-headed. Let's not forget the role of caffeine and alcohol here. That late afternoon cup of coffee might seem harmless, but for some people, especially after 60, it lingers longer in the system and can interfere with sleep hours later. As for alcohol, while it might make you feel sleepy at first, it tends to disrupt your sleep cycle in the second half of the night. So it's worth experimenting. Just try a few nights without it and see how your body responds. Now, I want to talk about something that might surprise you: the power of purpose. It may not seem directly connected to blood pressure, but feeling a sense of purpose, knowing that your presence matters, that you're still contributing in meaningful ways, can have a deeply calming effect on the body and mind. When we wake up with a reason, even a small one, it adds a gentle structure to the day. Maybe it's tending to a garden, mentoring someone younger, volunteering, painting, writing, or simply taking care of a pet. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, it just needs to be yours. And that sense of engagement and joy can lower stress hormones, boost your mood, and in turn, help keep your blood pressure in a healthier range. If you've been feeling like your days are a little too quiet or a little too long, consider trying something new. Even something small. Join a local group, start a hobby you've always wanted to try, or rekindle an old one you haven't picked up in years. When your heart is full, it tends to beat more gently. I also want to take a moment to talk about hydration, something many people don't connect with blood pressure. As we age, we often lose our sense of thirst. You might not feel thirsty, but your body could still be a little dehydrated. And when you're not getting enough fluids, your blood can become thicker, and your heart has to work harder to pump it. You don't need to guzzle gallons of water, but aim to sip steadily throughout the day. Water is best, but herbal teas, broths, or water-rich fruits like watermelon and cucumbers all help. Just try to limit sugary drinks or anything packed with artificial sweeteners. They can do more harm than good, especially when it comes to heart health. And while we're on the topic of fluids, let's circle back to one of the most overlooked contributors to high blood pressure in seniors: loneliness. It may not be a medical condition in the traditional sense, but make no mistake, loneliness is a heavy weight to carry. It raises stress levels, disrupts sleep, and can slowly chip away at your overall health. But here's something hopeful. Loneliness is not a permanent condition. It can shift, and often the smallest steps open the biggest doors. A friendly hello to someone at the store, a phone call to a family member you haven't spoken to in a while, joining a local group even if it feels a bit awkward at first. Every connection counts. Every conversation adds a drop of calm to your day, and over time those drops add up. Your journey toward lower blood pressure doesn't have to be overwhelming or complicated. It doesn't require big leaps or strict rules. What it asks of you is this: kindness, patience, and a willingness to treat your body like an ally, not a problem to fix. So today, maybe it's just choosing a fresh vegetable instead of a salty snack. Maybe it's going for a slow walk after dinner instead of watching another hour of television. Maybe it's calling a friend, or sipping an extra glass of water, or simply sitting quietly for 5 minutes with your hand on your heart, reminding yourself, you are still in charge of your health. You have more power than you realize. And even if the past hasn't always been kind to your body, the future is still unwritten. Every healthy choice you make now sends a ripple forward, helping your heart beat a little easier, helping your days feel a little brighter. You've already taken in so much about how your body responds to food, to stress, to sleep, to movement, and even to the quiet but powerful feelings of connection and purpose. But before we wrap things up, there's one more layer to this conversation, one that's just as vital and just as empowering. It's about being your own health advocate. Now, I know it's tempting to believe that our health is entirely in the hands of doctors, prescriptions, or fate. And yes, your doctor is important. Medications can be necessary. But don't underestimate what you bring to the table: your awareness, your choices, your voice. Especially when it comes to high blood pressure, which can sneak in quietly and stay hidden for years, it's essential to check in with your body and to speak up when something doesn't feel quite right. Maybe it's a little dizziness when you stand up, or waking up with a dull headache. Maybe your heart feels like it's fluttering or racing, even when you're just sitting still. These moments may seem small, but they matter. They're your body's way of waving a little flag saying, hey, something's off. Can we take a closer look? And don't worry, being proactive doesn't mean being paranoid. It means being tuned in. A simple home blood pressure monitor can be a game changer. You don't need to obsess over numbers. Just take your readings a few times a week, preferably at the same time of day, and jot them down. Over time, you'll start to see your own patterns. And if something shifts noticeably, you'll know it's time to check in with your doctor. Now here's the good news. If you've been diagnosed with hypertension, or even if you're just borderline high, remember this: high blood pressure is not a life sentence. It's a signal, a nudge, a reminder that it's time to care for yourself more deeply. And every change you've made, even the tiniest one, counts. Think about it like planting seeds. One glass of water, one mindful breath, one walk around the block, one less pinch of salt on your dinner. Each action, small as it may seem, is a seed of health. And when you nurture those seeds daily, they grow into something strong, something lasting, something that supports you in ways you can feel, not just in numbers but in energy, clarity, and peace of mind. Of course, this isn't about perfection. There will be days when you skip the walk, when you reach for the chips, when stress gets the better of you. And that's okay. Health isn't about never slipping. It's about getting back up, again and again, with love and compassion for yourself. You're human. You're learning. And every step forward still counts, even if it's not in a straight line. So if there's one message I want to leave you with, it's this: You are not too old to change. You are not too far gone to feel better. And you are never ever alone on this journey. There are thousands, millions of people your age just like you, choosing every day to take their health into their own hands, sharing stories, encouraging each other, making the most of this chapter of life. And you're part of that. By watching this video, by listening, by caring, you've already taken the first most important step. And maybe, just maybe, you'll help someone else too. Maybe your neighbor notices your daily walks and decides to join. Maybe your grandchild hears you talk about how you're eating more fresh foods and starts asking questions. Maybe your friend sees how much more energy you have lately and wants to know your secret. Change is contagious. Healing is powerful. And when we choose it together, it ripples out farther than we can imagine. So my friend, here's to you. Here's to your heart, quietly working for you every second of every day. Here's to your courage to keep learning, to keep growing, and to take control of your well-being with gentle strength. You deserve to feel good in your body. You deserve to feel calm in your mind. And you absolutely deserve a long, joyful, vibrant life. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you tried any of these tips? Did something in this video resonate with you? Maybe you've discovered your own ways to manage high blood pressure naturally. Your story might inspire someone else who's just starting out. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We're here to support you with more simple, heart-healthy tips to help you live your best life, every step of the way. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for caring about yourself and your health. Until next time, take good care of that wonderful heart of yours. You've got this.